Hi there, Simon from simonwoods.com. I'm doing a piece on Sancerre and Pouilly-Fumé, and I had a load of people sending some wines. Most of what they sent was from 2010, but a few people sent some older stuff, so here, that's what I've got. 5 bottles, 4 from 2009, 1 from 2008. Sancerre, Pouilly-Fumé, what's the difference? Well, they're just across the river from each other. They both grow Sauvignon Blanc and make 100% Sauvignon Blanc whites. They make reds from Pinot as well. Some people say that Sancerre's a bit more consistent. Pouilly-Fumé's got maybe higher highs and more of this, what they call the gunflint edge, pierre de fusil. Is this true? Let's find out. First one, I think we've got the 2 Pouilly-Fumés to start with. There's an 09 and an 08. This is Maison Blondelet, 2009. Lemon, lemongrass, herbs. I do get a little bit of that flinty character there, but it's more this crunchy, tangy, taut fruit that's the thing that's coming through. Quite soft and rounded. I think that 2009 was quite a warm year for the Loire, a good year, but maybe a purist would like something with maybe a little more acidity there. But I do get this rounded, fleshy core. But the fruit still has this sappy freshness, perfectly decent. I did have a bottle of 2010 Sancerre yesterday, and it had a bit more zip and life to it than that. But that's perfectly pleasant. And for some people who find those zippy, quite high acid wines just a bit too much, they'll probably actually find that more of a crowd pleaser. Let's see what the 2008 is like. I'm not sure whether they intended to send the 2008. This is Tesco's Finest, made by Fournier. I think we've got Sancerre from the same guys coming up next, again under Tesco's own label. Is 2008 now 3 years old? Is it too old for Sauvignon Blanc? Let's have a see. Interesting here, it's started to develop what I call that pungent, ever so slight tinned asparagus character that you pick up in certainly New Zealand, older wines you get there. Here, it almost goes onto a honeyed side. It's an intriguing flavour. Is it a good flavour? Is it better when it's younger? I think you'll get people who are of 2 different minds here. But there's almost a lychee richness here, a bit of spice too. Yes, it's got this intriguing, rounded, slightly plummy, honeyed flavour, and yes, that's some of that fresh, rich lychees with a bit of the syrup coming through. More maybe on the tinned fruit than the tinned asparagus. There is a little bit of the vegetal there. Maybe not the pungent crispness that there was in the first one, but aging okay. So as I say, I've got a feeling that they didn't intend to send this vintage, but if there are still a few bottles of 2008 on the Tesco shelves, and you find one, well, it's not bad at all. So this is Fournier again, 2009, and again Tesco Finest. I mean, it's noticeably younger here. It also feels like it's going to be a bit crisper than the Maison Blondelet Pouilly-Fumé. And the strange thing is, Pouilly-Fumé is supposed to be the one that's got the flinty edge. I do get some of that gunflint here. Yes, it's that after fireworks smell, just that little bit of, when you strike rocks together and you can smell both a bit of the rock and also a bit of the spark. Can you smell sparks? I can. It's not quite as punchy and as pungent as it would have been a few months ago, but it's still got this nice crispness to it, this lemon flavour, a bit of the grassiness coming through, the nettles, that flinty edge flitting through it. I like that, and I actually prefer it to the Maison Blondelet. Let's see how we get on with who's this Cherrier Père et Fils, Sancerre 2009. This is a much more taut, steely, upright style than the Finest Fournier one. It feels like it's got a sterner, acidic backbone, but it's also got this mineral character. So whereas there is the fruit there's maybe a bit of apple, but mainly citrus. It's got this stony river pebble, flinty, and herb character as well. It smells like it's going to be a bit more classy than what we've had so far. Yeah, a nice mix between the richness of the vintage and this punchy, pungent backbone. I like that tang, and I like the way that it has got this quite upright stance, but thanks to the vintage, thanks to the vineyards probably, there's also this rounded character around it, so it's never too angular, and it looks really nicely balanced and tasting pretty good now. Is it better than it was a year ago? I think you get into personal preference. I like that little bit of softness. It's lost a bit of the youthful shriek and is now a bit more, maybe a bit more flab around the middle, but more interesting as a result of it. Last one, Lucien Crochet, Sancerre, 2009. This smells youngest of all. It feels really, really quite tight and closed in. I don't notice quite as much intensity as on the one before, but it also feels like the one that's the youngest. Feels like there's something in there that's going to blossom with time. So at the moment you're getting a bit of the citrus, the herb, the mineral, some of that grassy character, but it's a bit of a come back tomorrow, I'll tell you a bit more then. Really interesting contrast between those two. The first one has got the maybe a bit more forward, a bit more flesh on it. This is more sleek and slender. Again, you get into your personal preference. I do like both of them. I think that this one has a bit more class to it, a bit more refinement. But who is it? Can't remember who it's from now. Cherrier. That's the one that would be really nice tonight, and I think the Crochet tomorrow night. Yeah, 5 Sauvignons. If people come to Sauvignon now from New Zealand or from South Africa or from Chilean Sauvignon, these slightly older wines are a good place to jump in, because if you get them when they're young, almost like within a few months of the vintage, they can be a bit too much of a stern experience. The wines are generally a bit fuller and fatter than they were a few years ago. But here, when they've had an extra year in bottle to calm down, they're looking pretty good, and the last two in particular were looking very good. See you soon.